Pure genius in cinema. To say the earning of that title is easy is to say flying to space is easy. If you asked any director whether they want to achieve pure genius in cinema, it is almost guaranteed they will say yes. And on the 22nd of November in 2012, I believe that Sam Mendes achieved that title, after he released the undisputed masterpiece of the James Bond franchise, Skyfall.
Well, first time for everything. Yes.
What makes you think this is my first time?
Welcome back to Fallen Ninja Productions Movie Reviews, where I explain what a movie is. In this episode, we'll be continuing my James Bond Christmas with my favourite Bond movie, and a movie that may be even in my top 10 favourite movies, and that is Skyfall.
Detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Yep! Skyfall is definitely a unique James Bond movie, and I mean that in the best way possible. It happens to be both the most un-Bond movie, and yet the most Bond movie. Hear me out. It's probably the Bond movie that ignores the formula the most out of any Bond movie, but yet simultaneously, it gives the most character to James Bond than any other entry. It also has probably one of the best villains in the franchise. Released to extremely positive reviews, Skyfall has been and is still regarded as one of the best entries in the Bond franchise, and rightfully so. With some of the best storytelling and characters in the entire series, the movie has solidified itself as one of, if not the best Bond movies. The movie follows Bond after an incident that took him out of fieldwork for a time, getting back into work to find the identity and location of a hacker who has hacked MI6 and is threatening M. Bond follows a trail which leads him to Silva, played by Javier Bardem of No Country for Old Men fame. Silva is an ex-MI6 agent who has a conflict with M and wants to kill her. I seriously can't explain this movie very well and be able to capture the same amount of perfection that this movie displays, so I strongly suggest that you watch this one. Even if you haven't seen a James Bond movie, it is an amazing movie for everyone, including people with a basic knowledge of James Bond. I'd better get on to the ratings before I keep rambling. First is originality. Usually Bond movies have the tendency to be original, yet Skyfall still manages to take it to the next level. 10 out of 10. Next is storyline. This film, unlike a lot of others, follows a 4-act structure as opposed to the regular 3-act. Whilst it may sound like a bad thing, it's the opposite. The movie wouldn't work in a 3-act, and since it doesn't try to fit the story in a 3 acts, it doesn't feel rushed and allows it to flow naturally. 10 out of 10. Third is script. The script for this movie is phenomenal. Unlike Quantum, which was written by untrained writers, instead it was written by 3 people. John Logan, who wrote Rango, Neil Purvis, who also wrote Casino Royale, and Robert Wade, who was also a co-writer on Casino Royale. The script has everything you could want from one. 10 out of 10. Next is characters. This movie gives a lot of much needed characterization to characters in the series, such as Bond himself, M, Q, and even Moneypenny. This helps elevate the movie's status, and even helps you get attached to most of the characters. 10 out of 10. Fifth is acting. Daniel Craig brings it all in this movie. In this movie, he is the most Bond we've ever seen him, and it's official that he's settled into the role. Not to mention Javier Bardem, who may be one of my favourite Bond villains. Naturally, Judi Dench is also excellent as M again, and even Ben Whishaw as Q does a great job. 10 out of 10. Next is editing. I genuinely love the editing here for one reason. Color correction. The color correction in this movie is beautiful, with each location visited in this movie being its own unique and standout color. Like in Shanghai, where everything is coated in a nice techno blue color, Or in Scotland in the fourth act, where grey is more of the dominant colour to blend in with the overcast skies. 10 out of 10. Next is creativity. The creativeness of this movie oozes off the screen. Every decision made in this movie, it is very obvious that the cast and crew cared so much about this movie and did everything they could to make this movie amazing. And it works so well. 10 out of 10. Next is entertainment value. Considering I've watched this movie 3 times in the past 2 months, I'd say it's definitely entertaining. But considering I've heard nothing but praise thrown at this movie, I have no choice but to give it a 10 out of 10. Last but not least, of course, is personal opinion. With the amount of praise I've thrown toward this movie, do you really expect me to stop now? 10 out of 10. And now we enter the bonus round. First up is the intro song. Of course, the intro song is Skyfall sung by Adele. The song is great, and considering the lasting effects it's had beyond this movie, it shows how great it is. Not to mention the absolutely stunning visuals. +3. Next is gadgets. Latest thing from Q Branch. It's called a radio. Yes, of course, with the introduction of Q Branch, we get some finally good gadgets. Including, but not limited to, a radio, and a Walt the PPK digitally coded to Bond's palm prints. +3. Which brings the total score of Skyfall to 106 out of 100. Making it the highest scoring film review so far. And now for my thoughts. I love this movie. It's great. It has everything you could ever want in a Bond movie, and even a movie in general. I could not suggest a watch even more. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tune in next time where I'll be covering Spectre. No! I wish I could skip this one. I'm being serious. Join me next time for the review of Spectre.